Across the Stars, The Rise of Mira. Far above a desert planet, a huge space station floated quietly in space. Inside, pilots and engineers worked hard every day to keep everything running smoothly. Mira was a young pilot who was really good at figuring out how the space station worked. Mira worked with Kyle, the main pilot of the station. She was trying to help him fix the station's navigation. Mira suggested a new idea to improve the system. Kyle tried to smile as he agreed to test her method, but he seemed unsure. When Mira's idea worked perfectly, everyone clapped for her. Kyle clapped too, but he didn't look as happy as he pretended to be. One day, Kyle asked Mira to come with him to a part of the space station where she had never been. He said they needed to check something important on an escape pod, a small spaceship used only in emergencies. He told her they needed to make sure it was working right. When they got to the pod, Kyle showed Mira all around it. He pointed to different buttons and controls. Then he asked Mira to go inside and check one of the panels. Mira stepped into the pod and looked closely at all the controls. While Mira was inside the pod, Kyle went to a computer outside. He quickly pressed some buttons, looking very serious. Then, without telling Mira, he shut the pod's door and locked it from the outside. Mira turned around and saw the door closing. She was confused, then shocked as Kyle looked at her through the small window of the pod and pressed another button. All of a sudden, the pod started shaking and began flying into space. Everyone on the space station saw the escape pod shoot out and fly away from the station. Then there was a loud bang and the pod exploded. Everyone felt upset and sad that Mira was gone. They thought it was a terrible accident. But only Kyle knew it wasn't an accident at all. He laughed and flew the space station quickly away. As the escape pod shot out from the station, inside, alarms rang loudly and lights flashed fast. Mira looked around and saw an emergency door. This was her only chance to get out. She quickly put on her spacesuit and zipped it up as the countdown started. The pod was going to explode in just a few seconds. She hurried to open the door, struggling with the hard handle until it finally opened. Outside the door, space was huge and full of stars. Mira took a deep breath, then pushed herself through the door, escaping into space right as the countdown ended and the pod exploded. Mira crash-landed on the lonely, sandy planet below. When she awoke, she saw that her escape pod was broken into pieces all around her. Under the bright sun, she looked at the sandy planet and tried to make sense of everything. Mira searched through the broken pieces of the pod. She looked for anything that might still work. Luckily, she found a broken communication device. It was damaged, but Mira thought she could fix it and send a message for help. Using tools and parts she found, she carefully connected wires to make the broken device work like a transmitter again. After working hard for many days under the hot sun, the device finally started working. Mira sent out a signal with her location, hoping a passing spaceship would hear it. As days went by, Mira lived on just a little bit of water and food from the emergency kit. She used parts of the pod to make a temporary shelter that kept her cool from the very hot weather. At last, Mira's hard work paid off. a rescue ship from another space station picked up her signal and came to the planet. They found Mira near the shelter she had made, but she was weak and had fainted. The new space crew took care of Mira, and she quickly regained strength. She was thankful to be alive. Now, Mira was part of the new space station. After recovery, she was full of hope, but she quickly felt lonely. She often heard people whispering, "Who is she?" and "Can we really trust her?" This made Mira feel sad and left out. The captain only let her do small jobs in the control room, which wasn't what she wanted at all. She wished she could show everyone that she was a good pilot. One day, the space station was navigating through a dangerous asteroid belt. Suddenly, the space station shook. A loose panel struck the main pilot on the head, knocking him out. Alarms blared and the ship started to move closer to more asteroids. With no one else to fly the ship, Mira knew she had to do something. She ran to the cockpit, her heart racing. Some crew members looked worried as she sat in the pilot's seat. Mira took a deep breath, grabbed the controls, and carefully steered the ship away from the dangerous rocks. It was scary, but she managed to fly the ship back to safety. After they were out of danger, the crew cheered for Mira. They were thankful she had stepped in to save the day. The captain was very thankful as well and impressed. After that, he began to trust Mira with more important jobs, including flying the ship on big missions. One day, Mira's job took her to a busy spaceport where a lot of trading happened. She walked through the crowded streets until she found a popular bar. The bar was full of noise from traders, pilots, and other space travelers. People were talking about their adventures. Mira went up to the bartender, ordered a drink, and took a moment to enjoy all the activity around her. Then, across the room, Mira saw a familiar face at the bar counter. It was Kyle. He was looking older and more tired than she remembered. His clothes were messy, and he was staring into his drink. Mira felt her heart beat faster as she remembered the last time they had met, when he betrayed her and she had to escape to save her life. She felt angry and wanted to take revenge. She tried to move closer to him. She could now overhear Kyle speaking to the bartender. He was talking about his failing career and the mess his life had become. He looked so defeated. Mira realized that Kyle was already living in his own personal hell. Just then, Kyle looked up and saw her. He gasped in shock and horror, realizing Mira was alive and doing well. The fear and guilt were clear on his face. Seeing his reaction, Mira suddenly realized that talking to him wouldn't change what had happened or make her future better. So, she walked away, leaving Kyle alone with his regrets. She felt lighter and happier, knowing she had moved on. After leaving the bar, Mira walked back to her ship under a star-filled sky, feeling calm. Seeing Kyle had reminded her of past challenges, but now she knew those tough times had made her stronger. Her crew was waiting, ready to plan their next trip. "Ready to go?" they asked. "Always," Mira answered with a smile, looking at the stars. As the ship launched, Mira felt excited about her future, proving hard times can lead to great new beginnings. All Tales is an original channel and podcast written and produced by Leo Bloom and Pradi Som and is released bi-weekly. The All Tales opening theme was written and performed by Lito Velasco. Background music for Across the Stars, The Rise of Mira, and their artists are credited in the episode's description. You can also listen to All Tales on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can support us on Patreon and gain access to exclusive merchandise and content. And remember to follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok, and of course YouTube for more updates. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our All Tales community. Until next time, keep your imagination alive.